So we went to Canada to get a car. I'd been looking for an AE86 for a long time now. If you don't know what that is, I'll put like a little link down there. Check it out. If you know cars, you probably know. I was looking for one specifically in red, but they're really hard to find. A GTS red, hatchback, all the things that I want. It's kind of tricky to find. A pretty clean example popped up in Victoria. This one had been painted gold, but it used to be red. So I was like, probably a good sign. David and I took a plane. We got a one-way flight up there to go check out the car. Got in, converted our currency, got all this Canadian cash, went to go meet the dude. The car's in the driveway. It's that gold car right there, just sitting in the driveway. And then the owner, Sean, we see him pulling up from down the street, and he is in pretty much a bone stock, all red, original GTS hatch. It's his car. It's the car that he drives every day. Basically immediately fell in love with that car, and the gold car, even though it was awesome, was just in the back of my mind. We looked at the gold car, we looked at the red car, talked to him. He's a really awesome dude, super cool dude. Made an offer on the red car. He's like, I don't really want to sell it. Give us a number. He threw out a number. We're like, okay, we'll pay that. And then he's like, no, I can't sell it. I can't do it. Went back to the hotel thinking, I'm not gonna get a car. I don't wanna buy the gold one anymore. At least I gotta think about it. Just doesn't seem like what I exactly want. We had some more communication with him, and then early in the morning, he threw out a price that he'd be willing to let the red car go. It was a little bit more than what we wanted to pay, but it was basically perfect. So we said yes. So we spent the next couple hours running around from ATM to ATM, making withdrawals to try to get enough Canadian cash to pay for the car, because it was more money than either of us had brought. So I had the chunk of money that I was gonna buy the car with. David loaned me a little bit of money, but then we still had to go get more money. Even offered to knock the price down a little bit more if he kept his work wheels and put the stalkers back on. So we met up with him at his dad's house. He swapped out the wheels. We got to hang out with his dad, who's a super chill dude. And dude's got a bunch of cars. He's got a 240, he's got a FD, he's just in the game. Really awesome dude, Sean. It's so good to meet you. You're the bomb. After we went down with him to the little insurance place, so he signed his existing insurance over to the other car that he was gonna be driving, signed the title over to me, and then we booked out because we were trying to catch the ferry same day to Port Angeles in Washington. Now the ferry was sold out, but they said we have a waiting list. Get there as soon as you can, we'll see what happens. So we showed up at the port, and they're like, there's probably a 40% chance you're gonna get in. We're number 19 on the wait list, so we're sitting in this parking lot just waiting for this ferry, which we may or may not get on. We didn't want to go back to the hotel or miss the ferry because we didn't have plates for the car, because that happens a little differently than it does in the US. So we were driving around with no plates, which a few people told us was a pretty bad idea. Waited it out, and we got on the ferry. We were the last car to drive on the ferry. You park underneath, and then it's about an hour and a half boat ride into Washington. Even though the car was basically bone stock, we weren't sure how importing it was gonna go. There's a 25-year rule that makes it really easy, or easier, to import cars if they're over 25 years of age. We had all the paperwork and I did all the research, but there's still that unknown factor. I didn't film any of the custom stuff because even though we weren't doing anything weird, I didn't want to draw any extra attention to us or make it harder than it had to be. It was actually really easy. We pulled through, they pulled us aside, got all our paperwork dialed, checked everything out. The dude that was processing the paperwork was actually from Santa Cruz, so he recognized my address and came out and talked to us for a while. And we had a really good time. They stamped us free and clear, imported the car, and we're in Washington. Did a 5-ish hour drive that night, ended up in Portland, crashed at Portland around midnight, and then woke up to go get some breakfast and coffee. That dude right there, that's Nolan. He's running things at Proud Mary USA. They're actually a company from Australia. They have this thing set up in Portland, and they do a couple interesting things with the coffee service as well. So with the Espresso flight that I got, because they have all those machines lined up around the bar, if you get a flight of 3, they actually brew all of those espressos at the same time so that you get them all at the same time. You can taste them back to back to back, and none of the coffees have been sitting for a while, which I thought was really awesome. Nolan and the crew made us feel super welcome. It was a really relaxing experience, especially after a couple days of figuring out, are we gonna get this car? Are we gonna get it across the border? What are we doing? What's happening? Do we have any money left? Can we even afford coffee now?
Couture, Colombian Maripe, and then the Hartman Maripe.
Sweet.
I really like the old school Espresso with a big fucking handle on it. Boiler, basically. Double.
So awesome.
Yeah.
Portland was the last stop in our journey before we got to Santa Cruz. We basically hucked it. It's about a 12 or 13 hour drive depending on how the traffic goes. I think you can get it in 10 or 11 if you're really cranking. We did it in about 12 or 13, stopped, took some breaks. I handed the keys over to David and we pulled into Santa Cruz about 5 in the morning and I just went to bed. 5 a.m. I don't stay up that late, y'all. This is not normal for me. Anyway, I'm really excited. It was an amazing trip. It was a total adventure because every step along the way I had no idea what was gonna happen next. It required me to just kind of let go of some stuff, throw it out there for whatever to happen. So super big shout out to David who helped me out with getting the car, checking it out, making sure everything was awesome. Wouldn't have happened without you, bro. Wouldn't have happened without you. Anyway, that's a little bit of cars, a little bit of coffee. If you want to see more of the car, let me know. I might put some stuff up on its journey because, you know, we're going to be doing some things to it, but let me know what you think. Stay dialed, and I will catch you on the flip side. Peace.
I don't even know where we are right now. But I don't want to leave.